I'm sitting in my car outside my sister Amy's apartment, and I literally cannot process what I just watched on my security camera footage, so I'm typing this out because I need someone to tell me I'm not going insane. Friday morning, I left for my parents' house 3 hours away. My boyfriend Gordon and I have been together for 2 years and living together for 8 months in this apartment we rent downtown. My dad had surgery scheduled for Friday afternoon, and my mom needed help, so I planned to stay the whole weekend through Monday morning. Gordon said he'd stay home because he had work stuff to catch up on. And honestly, I was fine with that because my parents' house is small and he's not great with family stuff anyway. Thursday night, before I left, Gordon mentioned maybe having the guys over Saturday to watch some games. I said, sure, whatever, just clean up after, and he was like, obviously, babe, I'm not a slob. Famous last words. I drove to my parents' Friday morning and everything was normal. Gordon texted me Friday night asking how my dad's surgery went and saying he missed me. Saturday morning, he texted, good morning and I love you. Saturday afternoon, I was helping my mom with meal prep when my phone buzzed with a text from Jocelyn, who lives across the hall from us. The text said, hey, I don't want to overstep, but there's been a lot of people going in and out of your apartment all day. Just wanted to make sure everything's okay. I texted back saying Gordon's having some friends over to watch sports, no big deal. She sent back, okay, just checking because I saw several girls go in earlier. Several girls. I stared at that text. Asked Jocelyn what she meant by several, and she said like 4 or 5 different women throughout the afternoon. I texted Gordon asking how the guys' hangout was going, and he replied with just chilling watching the game. Pretty low-key. Low-key. While apparently multiple women are going in and out of our apartment. I texted Jocelyn back asking if she was sure about the girls, and she said positive. I can send you video if you want, I have my doorbell camera footage. I said, yes, please send it. She sent me 3 video clips and I watched them sitting in my parents' kitchen while my mom chopped vegetables, completely oblivious to the fact that my life was imploding. First video, Saturday around 2 p.m. 2 girls I've never seen before walking into my apartment building. One blonde in a super tight dress and one brunette in basically a crop top and jeans. They're clearly dolled up, not dressed for casual sports watching. Second video, Saturday around 4 p.m. 3 more girls arriving, all dressed like they're going to a club, not a guys' sports hangout. One of them is carrying a bottle of vodka. Third video, Saturday around 6 p.m. The same girls leaving and coming back with more people, including guys I don't recognize. I called Gordon immediately. He answered, and I could hear loud music and people yelling in the background. I asked what's going on, and he said, what do you mean? And I said, it sounds like a party. He said, oh yeah, a few more people showed up, but it's still pretty chill. I asked about the girls, and he said, what girls? What girls? I told him my neighbor saw multiple women going into our apartment, and he got all defensive, saying Jocelyn must be confused because it's just the guys here. I said, she has video? And he said, then she's recording the wrong apartment because there's no girls here. I asked him to FaceTime me right then, and he said he can't, his phone's about to die. I said, then charge it and call me back. He said he will later and hung up. My sister Amy, who was also visiting my parents for the weekend, saw my face and asked what's wrong. I showed her the videos and she goes, oh hell no, we're going back to your apartment right now. My mom tried to say maybe it's innocent and I should trust Gordon, but Amy was already grabbing her keys. We left Sunday morning at 6 a.m., told my mom dad's doing fine anyway and we'd come back next weekend. Drove 3 hours with Amy going on and on about what she's going to say to Gordon if he's actually cheating. I kept trying to convince myself there's an explanation. Got to my apartment around 9:15 a.m. Sunday morning. Used my key to open the door and the smell hit me first. Alcohol and perfume and just general grossness. The living room was trashed. Empty bottles everywhere. Cups on every surface. The couch cushions were on the floor. There was a bra hanging off my TV. A black lace bra that is definitely not mine hanging off my television in my apartment. Amy walked in behind me and goes, what the actual hell? We just stood there taking it in. The kitchen was worse. More bottles. Pizza boxes. Someone's high heel shoe just sitting on the counter next to what looked like spilled wine. The sink was full of dishes and red Solo cups. Gordon was passed out in our bedroom, still fully clothed, thank God, but absolutely reeking of alcohol and perfume. I shook him awake and he opened his eyes all confused, and then saw me and panicked. Sat straight up, going, babe, what are you doing here? I asked him what the hell happened to our apartment. He looked around all bleary and said, oh man, yeah, sorry about the mess, we got a little carried away last night. I asked about the BRA on the TV and the high heel in the kitchen and the perfume smell everywhere. He said, what are you talking about? There were no girls here, just the guys. Just the guys. I walked back to the living room and grabbed the bra off the TV and held it up. Asked him to explain this then. He looked at it and said, I don't know, maybe someone brought their girlfriend. I said, you told me it was just guys. He said it was mostly just guys and maybe a few people brought dates, but it wasn't like that. Amy was in the living room taking photos of everything on her phone. Gordon saw her and asked what she's doing, and she said getting evidence of you being a lying cheat. He got up and started getting defensive, saying he didn't cheat on anyone and we're being dramatic. I went to the bathroom and found makeup on my sink. Not my makeup. Different brands I don't use. A lipstick I've never seen. Hair ties that aren't mine. I walked back to the bedroom holding them and asked Gordon to explain these. His face went white. He said those might have been there from before or someone used the bathroom and he doesn't know. He said it wasn't my party, people just started showing up. Amy called from the living room saying I need to see this. Went back out and she was holding up a pair of women's underwear she found wedged between the couch cushions. Not mine. Purple lace thong. I don't own purple lace anything. Gordon came out and saw the underwear and said, okay, that's weird, but I swear I don't know whose that is. I asked him how women's underwear ends up in our living room if no girls were here. He said maybe Landon brought someone and things got out of hand, but he wasn't involved. I told him to get out of my face while I clean up and think. He tried to hug me and I pushed him away. He smelled like perfume and I wanted to vomit. Amy helped me start cleaning while Gordon sat on the porch looking pathetic. It took 3 hours to clean everything. Found more evidence the whole time. Fake eyelashes on the bathroom floor. A hair extension in the kitchen. Someone's phone number written in lipstick on my mirror. The whole time Gordon kept coming in saying he's sorry about the mess, but nothing happened with anyone. That yes, there were girls there, but he didn't touch any of them. That I'm overreacting and letting my imagination run wild. That Landon and Carl and Anthony all brought people. And it got bigger than he expected, but he was faithful the whole time. Amy finally told him to shut up and leave so we could finish cleaning. He went back outside and I heard him on the phone with someone, probably one of his friends, saying my girlfriend came home early and is losing it over nothing. Nothing. After we finished cleaning, I remembered we have a security camera in the living room. Gordon knows about it, but he's terrible with technology and probably forgot. It's one of those ones that records to the cloud and I can access the footage from my phone. I pulled up the app and scrolled to Saturday. Started watching and what I saw made me want to throw up. Saturday afternoon around 2 p.m., Gordon and his friends Landon, Carl, and Anthony are there drinking and watching sports like he said. Then around 2:30 p.m., the door opens, and in walks the 2 girls from Jocelyn's video, the blonde and brunette. They're all over Gordon immediately, sitting on his lap, running their hands through his hair. He's laughing and drinking and clearly into it. More people show up throughout the afternoon. By 5 p.m., there's probably 15 people there, and it's definitely a party. Gordon's dancing with different girls, making out with the blonde on our couch, going into the kitchen with the brunette, and they're not visible, but I can hear them flirting. Around 7 p.m., the footage shows Gordon and Carl and Landon in the living room with several girls. Someone turned off most of the lights, but the camera still picks up enough. Gordon's making out with a different girl now, a redhead I've never seen. His hands are all over her. Then the worst part. Around 9 p.m., Gordon and his boys are doing shots in the kitchen and the girls are in the living room dancing. I can hear Gordon clearly on the audio saying, "My girlfriend is so stupid she'll never know about this." His friends laugh. Carl says, "Dude, you're playing with fire," and Gordon says, "Nah, she trusts me completely. She's clueless." Landon says, "What if someone tells her?" and Gordon says, "Who's gonna tell her? Everyone here knows to keep their mouth shut." Then Anthony says, "What about all these random girls?" and Gordon says, "They don't know who I am or where I live after tonight." Then Gordon says something that made me actually gasp out loud, sitting there in my cleaned living room with Amy watching over my shoulder. He says, "Honestly, I'm just keeping her around until I find someone hotter anyway. She's like my safety net." Safety net. Amy grabbed my phone and rewound it. We watched that part 3 more times. Gordon calling me stupid. Gordon saying he's looking for someone hotter. Gordon calling me his safety net like I'm some backup plan while he looks for better. The footage continues and it gets worse. Gordon taking girls into our bedroom. Coming out 20 minutes later, adjusting his clothes. Different girls going in and out of the bathroom. People doing shots off each other. This went on until 4 a.m. when the last people finally left and Gordon passed out. I saved all the footage to my phone. Downloaded every single video file from Saturday afternoon through Sunday morning. Amy helped me make sure it was all backed up to 3 different places. Then I sat there trying to figure out what to do. Part of me wanted to confront Gordon immediately with the videos. But another part of me remembered him calling me stupid and clueless. Saying I'd never know. Talking about me like I'm disposable. Gordon came back inside around 2 p.m. asking if we can talk. I said, "Sure, let's talk." He sat down and launched into this apology about how the party got out of hand and he should have controlled it better. But nothing happened between him and anyone else. That yes, there were girls there, but they were other people's guests, not his. I asked him to swear on our relationship that nothing happened. He looked me right in the eyes and said, "I swear on everything nothing happened. I was faithful to you the whole time." He said other people must have used our apartment and he's sorry he didn't keep better track. I just nodded and said, "Okay, I believe you." His face lit up. He started going on about how he knew I'd understand and we're good and he loves me so much. I said I'm still upset about the mess and lying about who was there, but we can work through it. Gordon hugged me and said thank you for trusting me. I hugged him back while thinking about him calling me clueless and stupid on that video. Amy looked at me like I was insane. I texted her saying I have a plan, just go with it. She looked skeptical but didn't say anything. Gordon spent the rest of Sunday trying to make it up to me. Ordered my favorite food. Did the remaining cleaning. Kept apologizing for the mess. I played along. Asked him about his weekend, and he told me this elaborate story about just him and the guys watching games and how a few extra people showed up, but it was super low-key. Every word was a lie, and I have video proof, and he has no idea. Monday morning, Gordon went to work like normal. Kissed me goodbye and said he loves me. I I set it back and watched him leave. Then I sat down with all the security footage and started planning. Update 1 coming because I spent the last 2 weeks playing the perfect girlfriend while setting everything up. Update. Okay, so the last 2 weeks have been the most exhausting performance of my life, and I need to tell you everything because Gordon's world just came crashing down spectacularly, and I'm sitting at Amy's apartment watching it all unfold. Monday, after I found everything, I went to work like normal, spent my lunch break making a plan, downloaded all the security footage to a USB drive, and gave copies to Amy and my best friend Joanna, who I've known since college. Told them both if anything happens to me or my copies, these need to exist. Amy asked what my plan was, and I told her I'm not entirely sure yet, but I know I'm not confronting Gordon until I have everything lined up. She wanted me to just dump him immediately, but I said no, I need to be strategic about this. Gordon thinks I'm stupid and clueless, so I'm going to use that. Monday night, Gordon came home with flowers. Flowers. Said he felt so bad about the mess from the weekend and wanted to make it up to me. I thanked him and put them in water and acted like everything was fine. We had dinner and watched TV, and he kept touching me and being affectionate, and I just smiled through it while remembering the video of him making out with that redhead. Tuesday morning, after Gordon left for work, I realized he'd forgotten his phone on the nightstand. He texted me from his work computer asking if I could bring it to him on my lunch break. I said sure, no problem. But first I went through it. Yes, I know his passcode because we've been together 2 years, and he's never been secretive before. Opened his messages, and there was a group chat with Landon, Carl, and Anthony called Boys Weekend. I scrolled up to Saturday, and oh my god. The messages started Saturday afternoon with Anthony saying, "This party is getting wild," and Gordon responding with, "I know dude, this is awesome." Carl sent a photo of 2 of the girls dancing, and Gordon replied with, "The blonde one is so hot." Then, around 8 p.m., Landon sent, "You better delete all these messages before your girl sees them." Gordon responded, "LOL, she's not smart enough to check my phone, but good call." Anthony sent back, "Dude, you're playing with fire," and Gordon said, "Nah, I got this under control. She believes everything I tell her." I took screenshots of everything. Every message, every photo they shared. All of it backed up to my cloud storage. Tuesday night, I cooked Gordon's favorite meal. He came home and was so happy. Kept saying how lucky he is to have me and how other guys wish they had a girlfriend like me. I smiled and said, "I'm the lucky one." He had no idea I'd spent the day screenshotting him calling me not smart enough. Wednesday, I started phase 2. Called the landlord and explained that Gordon and I are breaking up and I need to know what's involved in getting him off the lease. The landlord said since we're both on it, we'd need to either both agree to break it or one person can take over the full lease with the other person's signature. I told the landlord I want to take over the full lease and I'll pay whatever fees are involved. She said, "Okay, just need Gordon to sign the release forms." I said, "I'll handle that." Then I asked when our lease is up anyway, and she said not until August, which is 7 months away. I asked what the penalty is for breaking it early, and she said 3 months rent. Did the math. 3 months rent is $4,500, which I don't have liquid right now. But my parents do, and when I called my mom and explained the situation, she said she'd loan it to me, no questions asked. My dad got on the phone and said he always knew Gordon was a piece of work, and he's proud of me for handling this smart. Wednesday night, Gordon came home and suggested we go out for dinner. I said, "Sure, where do you want to go?" He picked this nice place we go to for special occasions. We got dressed up and went, and the whole dinner he was being extra sweet and attentive, holding my hand, telling me how beautiful I am, talking about future plans. At one point he said, "You know, I've been thinking maybe we should start looking at houses to buy." I almost choked on my wine. Asked him why the sudden interest in houses, and he said he's ready to take the next step with me, that he sees a future with me and wants to make it official. I just smiled and said, "That sounds nice, let's talk more about it." He said he loves me so much and feels like the luckiest guy. I said I love you too, and we finished dinner. The whole time I was thinking about him saying I'm just his safety net until he finds someone hotter. Thursday I met with Joanna for coffee. She works in PR, and I asked her opinion on how to handle this publicly. She said it depends what I want the outcome to be. I told her I want Gordon to face actual social consequences for treating me like garbage and lying to everyone. Joanna asked if I have proof, and I showed her some of the security footage on my phone. She watched Gordon making out with girls in our living room and calling me stupid and said, "Oh, he's done." She helped me compile everything into a clear timeline with timestamps and notes about what's happening in each video. Friday morning, Gordon left for work and I started packing. Not obviously. Just slowly going through my stuff and separating what's mine from what's ours. Taking photos of everything in the apartment for documentation, making lists of what I'm taking when I leave. Called Amy and asked if I could stay with her for a while when this all goes down. She said absolutely. And her spare room is mine for as long as I need. She has a 1-bedroom but said she'll take the couch and I can have her room. I told her that's too much, but she said Gordon treated you like trash, you're getting the bedroom. Friday night I suggested we have a quiet night in. Gordon agreed and we ordered pizza and watched a movie. He fell asleep on the couch with his head in my lap and I just looked at him wondering how someone can lie so easily. How he can look me in the eyes and say he loves me while planning to trade up to someone hotter. Saturday morning, Gordon asked what I wanted to do for the weekend. I said maybe we could do something fun, just the 2 of us. He suggested going to this arcade bar we both like. We spent Saturday afternoon there drinking and playing games, and he was taking photos of us for Instagram. Posted one with a caption about how lucky he is to have me. The comments were full of his friends saying couple goals and you guys are so cute. Landon commented saying, "When's the wedding, bro?" And Gordon replied with "soon, hopefully," with a ring emoji. I commented back with a heart emoji and liked all the supportive comments while knowing exactly what these same friends watched him do a week ago. Asked about the stuff in the apartment, and the lawyer said anything I can prove is mine I should take, and anything joint is technically whoever has possession. I showed her my list of what's mine, and she said that looks good. Just document everything with photos. Tuesday night, Gordon suggested we start looking at engagement rings online. Engagement rings. I said I thought we were looking at houses first, and he said why not both? We spent an hour looking at rings, and he kept asking what style I like, and I kept giving vague answers while dying inside. Wednesday, Amy came over while Gordon was at work. We started slowly moving my really important stuff to her apartment. My laptop, my important documents, some clothes. Things Gordon wouldn't immediately notice are gone. She asked when I'm pulling the trigger, and I said Saturday after Landon's party. Wednesday night, Gordon cooked dinner, which he never does. Made spaghetti and garlic bread and was being super romantic, lit candles and played music, and kept saying how much he appreciates me. I asked what the occasion was, and he said, "No occasion, I just love you." After dinner, he got down on one knee, and I thought, oh my god, he's proposing, and I'm going to have to say yes and then figure out how to handle this. But instead, he just tied my shoe that had come undone and laughed and said, "Got you." I fake laughed too while my heart was racing. Thursday, I finished getting everything lined up. Signed the lease takeover papers. Got the check from my parents for the breaking fee. Packed 2 more suitcases of my stuff and put them in my car trunk where Gordon wouldn't see. Made a folder on my computer with all the evidence organized and ready to share. Thursday night, Gordon wanted to talk about serious stuff. He said he's been thinking a lot about our future, and he really wants to marry me. Asked if I'd say yes if he proposed, and I said, "Of course I love you." He said he's going to start ring shopping for real and wants to propose by summer. I just nodded and smiled and said that sounds perfect while thinking about how in 48 hours his entire life is going to explode. Friday morning, I woke up before Gordon and just watched him sleep. This man who I loved for 2 years, who I lived with and made a home with and planned a future with, who called me stupid and clueless and his safety net, who cheated on me in our apartment and then lied to my face about it for 2 weeks. Friday afternoon, I met with Joanna again. She helped me prepare what I'm calling the receipt package, a compiled document with all the security footage clips edited together, screenshots of all the text messages, timeline of events, and a written statement from me about what happened. Joanna said when I'm ready to release this, it's going to blow up, that Gordon's going to face serious social consequences. I said good, that's exactly what I want. She asked if I'm sure I want to go this public, and I said absolutely. He called me stupid and clueless. He doesn't get to just walk away from this quietly. Friday night, Gordon came home with more flowers and a bottle of wine. Said he wants us to have a nice dinner before Landon's party tomorrow. We cooked together and drank wine, and he kept touching me and being sweet, and I played along perfectly. At one point, he said, "I don't know what I'd do without you," and I said, "You'll never have to find out." Saturday morning, I woke up with a purpose. Gordon was still asleep, and I went to the living room and looked around at our apartment. Our life together. 2 years of memories. I took photos of everything one last time. Gordon woke up around 10 a.m. and asked what I was doing. I said just cleaning up a bit. He came over and hugged me from behind and said he's excited for tonight. I said me too. He said Landon's party should be fun, and after that, maybe we can talk more about rings and houses and our future. We got ready for Landon's party Saturday afternoon. I wore a nice dress and did my makeup. Gordon kept saying how hot I looked and how lucky he is. We drove to Landon's place, and the whole way there, he was holding my hand and being affectionate. Got to the party, and it was couples like Gordon said. Landon and his girlfriend Beatrice. Carl and his girlfriend Ivy. Anthony was there solo. A few other people I know from Gordon's friend group. Everyone was drinking and hanging out, and it was actually pretty normal. Until I excused myself to use the bathroom and walked past Landon's room and heard Gordon talking to his friends inside. The door was cracked open, and I stopped and listened. Gordon was saying to Landon and Carl that Ashley has been texting him, and he's trying to figure out how to meet up with her without me finding out. Carl said, "Dude, didn't you learn your lesson from last weekend?" And Gordon said, "Last weekend was fine, I handled it perfectly. My girl doesn't suspect a thing." Landon said, "You're crazy, man. You're going to get caught." Gordon said, "Nah, she's too trusting, plus I'm being extra nice lately. So even if something seems weird, she'll just believe whatever I tell her." Anthony walked in then and said, "Are we talking about Ashley?" And Gordon said, "Yeah, I'm trying to hit that, but timing is tricky." They all laughed, and someone said, "Gordon, you're terrible," and he said, "Terrible, but not stupid. I know how to keep my girl happy while still having fun on the side." I stood in that hallway listening to the man I live with tell his friends he's planning to cheat on me again, while I'm standing 20 feet away at his friend's party. That's when I knew I was done performing, done pretending, done giving him one more second of my life. I walked back to the living room and found Gordon talking to Beatrice. Walked right up to him and said, "We need to leave now." He asked why, and I said I'm not feeling well. He looked annoyed, but said, "Okay, let me finish my drink." I said, "Now, Gordon." He made excuses to everyone, and we left. In the car, he asked what was wrong, and I said, "Just drop me at Amy's, I'm going to stay there tonight." He said, "What, why?" And I said, "Because I need space." He got defensive asking what he did wrong, and I said, "Nothing, I just need space." Dropped me at Amy's around 8 p.m., tried to come in and talk, but I said, "No, just go home, I'll text you later." He looked confused and hurt and drove away. As soon as he was gone, I texted Amy the code word we'd arranged, showtime. Amy pulled up the receipt package we'd prepared. At exactly 9 p.m., we sent it to everyone. Gordon's friends, Gordon's coworkers, Gordon's family, my family, our mutual friends, everyone. The package included the security footage of Gordon making out with multiple girls, the audio of him calling me stupid and clueless, the text messages with his friends about the party and about Ashley, and my statement explaining exactly what happened. Then I changed my Facebook status to single, posted the security footage clips with the caption, "This is what my boyfriend did while I was visiting my sick dad." Then he lied to my face about it for 2 weeks while planning to do it again. Thought I was too stupid to figure it out. Think again. My phone exploded. Messages from everyone who received the package. Messages from people who saw my Facebook post. Missed calls from Gordon starting at 9:15 p.m. Voicemails from him saying, "What the hell is going on? Call me back right now." At 10 p.m., Gordon showed up at Amy's door pounding on it, yelling my name, saying we need to talk. Amy told him through the door that I don't want to talk to him and he needs to leave. He said he's not leaving until I come out. Amy said she's calling the police and he finally left. Next update coming because Gordon has been banging on Amy's door at 4 a.m., screaming about his ruined life and what happened in between is absolutely wild. Final update. Okay, so Saturday night after I posted, everything was chaos and I need to walk you through what happened because Gordon completely lost it and the last 3 days have been absolutely insane. After Gordon left Amy's apartment around 10 p.m. Saturday night, my phone would not stop. Texts and calls from everyone who saw the footage. My mom called crying saying she's so proud of me for standing up for myself. My dad called saying if Gordon comes near me, he's going to have problems. Joanna called saying the videos are spreading like wildfire and Gordon's getting roasted in the comments. But also I was getting messages from Gordon's friends and family. His mom Alana texted saying she can't believe I would humiliate her son like this publicly instead of handling it privately. His brother Charles sent a long message about how I'm ruining Gordon's reputation over a misunderstanding. Landon texted saying I'm being vindictive and Gordon's a mess right now. I didn't respond to any of them. Just watched my phone blow up while Amy ordered pizza and we sat on her couch processing everything. Around 11 p.m., Amy showed me Facebook and Gordon had deleted his entire account. His Instagram was gone too. I checked the group chat with his friends and he'd left it. Sunday morning, I woke up to 43 missed calls from Gordon and 17 voicemails. I listened to the first few. The first one at 9:30 p.m. Saturday was him yelling about how could I do this to him and demanding I call him back immediately. By the 1 a.m. voicemail, he was crying saying, "Please, we need to talk, I can explain everything." The 4 a.m. voicemail was him saying his mom won't stop calling him, and his brother thinks he's disgusting, and Landon's girlfriend Beatrice saw the videos, and now Landon's mad at him for bringing that energy around her. That his life is falling apart, and it's all my fault for overreacting. My fault. For overreacting to him cheating and calling me stupid. Amy heard me listening and said, "Don't you dare call him back." I said I'm not, I just wanted to hear what he's saying. She made me delete his number right there so I wouldn't be tempted. I said I have it memorized, and she said, "Then we're changing your number tomorrow." Sunday around noon, Gordon showed up at Amy's apartment again, rang the doorbell probably 50 times. Amy told him through the door that I'm not here. He said her car is in the parking lot, he knows I'm here. Amy said even if she is here, she doesn't want to talk to you, so leave. Gordon started yelling through the door saying he has a right to explain himself and I'm being unfair not giving him a chance. Amy told him she's calling the police if he doesn't leave in 60 seconds. He finally left, but I watched from the window and he just sat in his car in the parking lot for 2 hours. I texted Jocelyn and asked her to check if Gordon's at our apartment. She said his car is not there, but she hasn't seen him since yesterday. I thanked her and she said she's sorry she ever doubted the girls were there and if I need anything, let her know. Sunday afternoon, my parents drove to Amy's. My mom brought food and my dad brought boxes to help me move the rest of my stuff out of the apartment. We decided to go Sunday evening when Gordon would probably be at his mom's or somewhere else trying to deal with the fallout. Got to the apartment around 6 p.m. and Gordon's car wasn't there. Used my key and walked in and it smelled like alcohol. Found empty beer bottles in the living room. The TV was still on. It looked like Gordon had been camping out here getting drunk. My dad started loading boxes while my mom helped me pack my clothes. We worked fast because I didn't want to be there when Gordon came back. Got most of my stuff loaded in about 2 hours. I was packing my bathroom stuff when I heard the front door open. Gordon walked in and saw us and just stopped. Looked at my dad loading boxes and my mom packing my things and me standing there with my toiletries bag. He said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm moving out." He said, "You can't just move out, we live here together." I said, "Actually, I can, and I am." He looked at my dad and said, "Can you give us a minute?" And my dad said, "No, I don't think I will." Gordon said this is between me and her, and my dad said, "You lost the right to privacy when you cheated on my daughter and called her stupid." Gordon's face went red. He turned to me and said, "We need to talk about this, just the two of us." I said, "There's nothing to talk about, I'm leaving." He said, "I'm overreacting and we can work through this." I asked him what exactly we're working through, the cheating or the lying or him calling me his safety net until he finds someone hotter. Gordon tried to say that's not what he meant and I'm taking it out of context. I said I have video with full context. He said I had no right to record him in his own home. I said it's our home, and the camera has been there for 6 months, and you knew about it, you just forgot. Because you're so used to lying, you didn't think about covering your tracks. He started getting defensive, saying I violated his privacy by going through his phone. I said you violated our relationship by cheating. He said he didn't cheat because nothing actually happened. I laughed. Told him I watched him make out with multiple women on our couch. He said making out isn't sex, so technically he didn't cheat. Technically. My mom stopped packing and said, young man, you better not be standing here trying to justify cheating with technicalities. Gordon looked at my mom and said, with all due respect, this is between me and your daughter. My mom said respect is something you clearly don't understand if you think making out with other women while insulting your girlfriend is acceptable behavior. Gordon tried a different approach. Said, okay fine, he made mistakes, but relationships are about forgiveness. That we've been together 2 years and built a life, and I'm throwing it all away over one bad weekend. I told him it wasn't one bad weekend. It was 2 weeks of lying to my face after the bad weekend. He said he lied because he knew I'd overreact exactly like this. I asked if overreacting means having self-respect and refusing to be someone's safety net. He said he never meant that safety net thing, he was just drunk and talking trash with his boys. I said drunk words are sober thoughts. Gordon sat down on the couch and put his head in his hands. Said, I'm ruining his life. That his friends won't talk to him, and his mom is disappointed, and his co-workers saw the videos, and now he's humiliated. I said good, maybe being humiliated will teach him not to humiliate other people. He looked up at me and said, so that's it. You're just done with us. I said I was done the second I watched you call me stupid and clueless and plan to cheat on me again. He said he wasn't actually going to do anything with Ashley, he was just talking. I said you were texting her and calling her hot and saying you wanted to hang out. Gordon said that's just flirting. It doesn't mean anything. I asked if it meant nothing, then why hide it? He said because I'm paranoid and jealous. I told him I'm not paranoid, I'm informed because I have proof of everything. He said I'm vindictive for posting it publicly instead of talking to him privately. I told him I did this publicly because you called me stupid publicly to your friends and planned to keep lying to me publicly while everyone knew except me. He said that's different, and I said how? He couldn't answer. My dad finished loading the last box and said, we're done here, let's go. Gordon stood up and said, wait, please just give me a chance to make this right. I asked how he plans to make it right, and he said he'll do whatever it takes. Counseling, transparency with his phone, cutting off his friends who encouraged this. Anything. I told him it's too late for anything. That I don't trust him and I don't want to trust him again. He said relationships take work, and I'm giving up too easily. I said I gave up at exactly the right time when I found out who you really are. Gordon tried to grab my hand and I pulled away. He said, please don't leave. I love you. I said, you don't love me. You love having someone to take care of you and make you look good while you do whatever you want behind their back. He said, that's not true. And I said, then explain the safety net comment. He started crying. Real tears running down his face, saying he was just being stupid and insecure and he does love me. That losing me is making him realize how much I mean to him. I told him he should have realized that before he cheated, not after he got caught. My mom said we need to go, and I followed her to the door. Gordon followed us. Going, please don't do this. My dad turned around and told Gordon if he contacts me again or shows up anywhere I am, he's going to have serious problems. Gordon said he has a right to talk to his girlfriend, and I said ex-girlfriend. We left and I heard Gordon yelling my name from the doorway, but I didn't turn around. Got to my car and just sat there for a minute while my parents loaded the last of my stuff. Amy texted asking if I'm okay, and I said I will be. Sunday night, back at Amy's, I couldn't sleep. Kept thinking about Gordon crying and begging. Part of me felt bad, but a bigger part remembered him laughing with his friends about how clueless I am. Remembered him planning to cheat again. Remembered 2 years of what I thought was love being called a safety net. Monday morning, I called the landlord and explained I'm moving out and breaking the lease. She said she received my paperwork and the check and Gordon just needs to sign the release. I asked if he'd been by and she said not yet. I told her I'd handle getting his signature. Monday afternoon, I texted Gordon from Amy's phone since I'd blocked his number. Said I need him to sign the lease release papers and where can I bring them? He called Amy's phone immediately and I answered. He said we need to talk in person, and I said just tell me where to bring the papers. He said come to the apartment, and I said I'm not coming there. He said then meet me somewhere neutral. We agreed to meet at a Starbucks near our apartment Tuesday morning. Monday night, Landon's girlfriend Beatrice messaged me on Instagram. Said she's so sorry for what happened and she had no idea Gordon was doing all that. That after she saw the videos, she told Landon she doesn't want to be around Gordon anymore, and Landon got defensive at first, but eventually agreed that what Gordon did was terrible. She said Carl's girlfriend Ivy feels the same way, and both of them are disgusted by what the guys enabled. I thanked her and told her I appreciate her reaching out. She said if I ever need anything to let her know. Tuesday morning, I got to Starbucks at 10 a.m., sat down across from him and pulled out the lease papers. Told him he needs to sign here releasing me from the lease and agreeing to take full financial responsibility. He looked at the papers and said, what if I don't sign? I said, then I'll take you to small claims court for my half of the breaking fee and everyone will see even more details about why I left. He said I'm threatening him and I said I'm giving him options. Gordon said he'll sign if I agree to talk to him for 30 minutes. I said fine, 30 minutes. He signed the papers and I put them in my bag. Then he launched into this speech about how sorry he is and how he's been doing a lot of thinking and he realizes he messed up badly. I just sat there drinking my coffee while he talked. He said he's been talking to his mom and his brother and even considered seeing a therapist. That he understands why I'm upset and he doesn't blame me, but he thinks we can get past this if I give him a real chance. I asked what a real chance looks like, and he said time to prove he's changed. That he'll cut off all the friends who encouraged the party. That he'll be completely transparent with his phone and social media. That he'll go to counseling. That he'll do whatever it takes to rebuild trust. I told him, trust isn't something you rebuild, it's something you don't break in the first place. He said everyone makes mistakes, and I said not everyone throws a party with multiple women while their girlfriend visits her sick father and then lies about it for 2 weeks while planning to do it again. Gordon said the Ashley thing wasn't real planning, he was just entertaining the idea. I said, so you were only considering cheating on me again, that makes it so much better. He said I'm being sarcastic and unfair. I said I'm being honest, which is more than he ever was. He asked if there's anything he can do to fix this. I said no. He said I'm not even willing to try, and I said I tried for 2 years, while you lied and cheated and called me stupid. He said 1 weekend doesn't negate 2 years. I said it does when that weekend revealed what you really think of me. Gordon said he doesn't think I'm stupid, he was just drunk and talking trash. I asked if drunk people make out with multiple women at parties they're hosting while their girlfriend is out of town. He said lots of people make mistakes at parties. I said not people in committed relationships. The 30 minutes ended and I stood up to leave. Gordon said, wait, can I at least text you sometimes? I said no, I blocked your number. He followed me out of Starbucks to my car, said he's not giving up on us. I said there is no us and there never will be again. He said I'm being cold and harsh. I told him I'm being smart and protecting myself from someone who treats me like garbage. Gordon said if I walk away now, I'm going to regret it. That he's a good guy who made one mistake and most women would be willing to work through it. I told him then he should find one of those women because I'm not her. He said I used to be understanding and forgiving. I said I used to be a lot of things before I watched video of my boyfriend cheating on me. I got in my car and locked the doors. Gordon stood there watching me drive away, and I saw him in my rearview mirror just standing in the parking lot looking lost. Wednesday morning, the landlord confirmed Gordon signed the papers and I'm released from the lease. The breaking fee was paid, and as of Friday, I'm officially moved out. She said Gordon came by asking if there's any way to add someone else to the lease to help with rent, and she said not until the current lease ends in August. Wednesday afternoon, my mom called and said she's proud of how I handled everything, that walking away from someone who doesn't respect you is the strongest thing you can do. My dad got on and said Gordon's lucky he didn't have to deal with him face to face because he wanted to punch him. Thursday, I got a message on Instagram from Ashley, the girl Gordon was texting. She said she had no idea he had a girlfriend and she's so sorry. Thursday night, Gordon showed up at Amy's apartment at 4 a.m., 4 in the morning, banging on the door, screaming my name, saying, please delete the videos, my life is ruined. Amy called the police immediately while Gordon kept pounding and yelling. He was screaming about how his friends won't talk to him, and people at work saw the videos and he's humiliated everywhere he goes, that his mom is disappointed and his brother won't return his calls, that he's sorry and he'll do anything. But I need to take down the videos. The police showed up in maybe 8 minutes and found Gordon sitting on the floor outside Amy's door crying. They asked if he lives here and he said no. They asked if he was invited and he said no, but he needs to talk to someone inside. They told him that's trespassing and he needs to leave. Gordon said he just wants to talk to his girlfriend, and the officer said if your girlfriend wanted to talk to you, she'd answer the door. They escorted him to his car and watched him drive away. The officer came back and told Amy this is the second time they've responded to calls about him here, and if it happens again, they'll arrest him. Landon texted Amy's phone saying Gordon is staying with his mom now and completely falling apart. That maybe I should consider taking down some of the videos since I made my point. I didn't respond because I don't owe Gordon or his friends anything. They watched him cheat and encouraged it, and now they're upset he's facing consequences. It's Saturday now, and I'm writing this from Amy's apartment where I'm staying until I find my own place. Gordon hasn't tried to contact me since Thursday night when the police came. I'm guessing his mom or lawyer or someone told him to stop. My phone is full of messages from people supporting me, friends saying I did the right thing, coworkers saying they're proud of me. To everyone who said collect evidence before confronting, that saved me from endless, he said, she said. To everyone who said walking away is strength, not weakness, I'm learning that. I'm 26 years old, single, living with my sister temporarily, and rebuilding my life after 2 years with someone who called me his safety net. And you know what? I'm okay. Better than okay. Because I'm not stupid or clueless. I'm smart enough to collect evidence, strategic enough to plan my exit, and strong enough to walk away from someone who doesn't value me.